Veteran Salute, sponsored by DeVaughn James Injury Lawyers.
Wednesday nights are time for our weekly segment, Veteran Salute. That's our chance to honor heroes from this area and thank them for their service.
Tonight, 27 News reporter Matthew Johnstone introduces us to Army veteran Karin Myron.
As the 90s kicked off, so did Army Specialist Karin Myron's active duty. With rising tensions in the Middle East, her service and communication skill set would send her overseas during the Gulf War conflict.
I started at radio teletype operator, which was phased out, but I was also the first class in my training at AIT to go through satellite communications.
As the Gulf War began, that training would be quickly put to the test with an 8-month deployment overseas.
I think I was so young, I was naive. There were scary times, but I knew I would come home. And that was a wonderful thought, where I knew a couple of the other soldiers in my unit who mentally just broke down, and it was hard to see. I was with the 101st, which is out of Fort Campbell, Kentucky, the Air Assault Division. My unit was at the border of Iraq and Saudi Arabia, in that I worked in the generals, what they call the general's talk, and I was sending messages to our soldiers who were moving forward into Kuwait to liberate Kuwait. So I was working in that communications environment and getting all the messages to and from.
Shortly after her time in the Middle East came to a close, Karin would see more of the world through the Army with a 1.5 years in Korea.
That's when I transferred into administration. I helped the main office where I was stationed at Camp Market. We got to work with the Katusas, which is the Korean Army that worked with the U.S. Army there.
That administration work led Karin to a special opportunity stateside, with a job typically reserved for those with a higher position, such as a sergeant.
I think where more of my work came in is when I was stationed in Kansas with the 89th ARCOM. That's when things were a little bit different. Worked at creating SOPs for them, standard operating procedure. So I was very happy to have a hand in that, in actually creating some of the ones that they started to work with.
That time in Kansas stuck with a Californian, bringing her back to the Sunflower State in 2013. Now enjoying retirement, Karin stays plenty active, helping fellow veterans through the Disabled American Veterans Organization. Working for you, Matthew Johnstone, 27 News.
We highlight veterans in our community every week, just like Karin. And if you know somebody we could feature in this segment, please check the Veteran Salute section at KSNT.com.
Sharing their story isn't the only way we honor these heroes, because each week the featured vet receives a gift. Take a look.
On behalf of DeVaughn James Injury Lawyers, we're honored to recognize this week's veteran, Karin Myron, and her dog, Kai. Thank you so much for your service, and we're excited to give you a check for $500.
Thank you so much. God bless America.
Veteran Salute, sponsored by DeVaughn James Injury Lawyers.